So apparently scientists revealed surprising genetic origins of India. Now listen, I know India is probably one of the most diverse places on planet Earth, on everything. You literally have almost every biome. I'm talking Minecraft biome in India, bro. But with that being said, a lot of people linked this over to me, said it's a really informative video. But listen, sometimes some people is just gonna argue about no, this is wrong and no, this is right. There is a lot that goes into it. But remember, don't take it out on me. These videos have information that I want to see, and of course you can correct it or maybe let me know like, hey, this might not be all the way accurate because this and this, cool, things like that. But you guys have linked this over and said it is pretty good video, you should check it out. It has a lot of information that you should have like known or maybe don't know, or you should know. Apparently I should know, but of course I want to figure it out because me being Brazilian myself, I want to find this out. You know, I've already done so much research on Brazil and my whole history and everything. I also have some German blood. Did y'all know that? I knew that because my great grandma was from Germany. Chill out. She left during World War II. I'm telling you guys a little too much, am I? I don't care. I want to tell y'all about me. Yeah, my great grandma was from Germany, and then she went to Brazil, and then here I am. Anyways. Yeah, so she came straight from Germany. She left because of World War II happening. She left Germany like, yo, let me get out of here. Regardless, I'm excited, man. Let's see this, bro. I am really curious. I love history, especially since my life is like really German, Brazilian, and this. And yo, come on, dog. Like, let's do this.
India is a land of breathtaking diversity, home to over 1 billion people, thousands of languages, and an ancient history that stretches back tens of thousands of years.
1,000 languages. That's for real. Like, I thought you guys were like trolling, like saying like, yeah, there's like 1,000 languages. I'm like, y'all trolling. Then I saw the consistency in the comments. Y'all are not trolling. Oh my gosh, there's actually thousands of languages, bro.
But where do the people of India truly come from? For decades, historians and archaeologists pieced together theories based on artifacts and ancient texts, but recent breakthroughs in genetics have added a whole new layer to the story, and it's more surprising than anyone expected. Genetic research is now revealing that India's origins are far more complex than a single migration or civilization. DNA evidence shows waves of ancient populations moving in and out of the subcontinent, blending over millennia to form the genetic tapestry of modern India. These discoveries challenge long-standing myths, reshape our understanding of ancient civilizations like the Harappans, and even shed light on the contentious Aryan migration theory.
The Harappans, you guys talked about that.
We'll break it all down. The first human migrations into India, the genetic legacy of the Indus Valley civilization, the impact of Central Asian steppe migrations, and how these ancient movements shaped everything from regional diversity to the caste system.
It's incredible, bro.
Each revelation brings us closer to understanding not just India's past, but the broader human journey itself.
Yeah, I mean, India is
so
us.
So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a 70,000-year voyage through the genes that shaped one of the world's oldest and most vibrant civilizations. Let's dive into the real story of India's genetic origins, told through the latest science and ancient DNA. The story of India's genetic origins begins with the first modern humans who migrated out of Africa around 70,000 years ago. These early humans traveled along coastal routes, eventually reaching South Asia, where they settled and thrived.
Wait, by the way, didn't most humans like kind of migrate out of Africa? I'm pretty sure, like, I'm talking about like old times. Like, we all migrated from Africa. Let me know about that, because like, honestly, from what my recollection of like being taught certain things and hearing certain things, I'm pretty sure we all migrated out of Africa. You let me know.
Genetic evidence from ancient DNA shows that these early settlers formed the foundation of the South Asian gene pool. Their descendants still live in India today. These ancient populations adapted to diverse environments, from the lush forests of the south to the arid deserts of the northwest. Over thousands of years, they developed unique cultures, technologies, and ways of life. Genetic markers from these early hunter-gatherers can still be found in the genomes of many indigenous communities, especially in southern India and among tribal populations.
There's a lot of tribes, yeah.
But these first settlers weren't isolated. Over millennia, waves of migrations brought new groups into the region. One of the earliest significant genetic influxes came from ancient Iranian farmers around 9,000 years ago. These farmers intermingled with local hunter-gatherers, contributing to the development of agricultural communities and setting the
Oh.
stage for the rise of complex societies. Interestingly, researchers have found that people in different regions of India carry varying amounts of ancestry from these ancient groups. For example, southern Indian populations show stronger genetic continuity with the original hunter-gatherers, while northern populations reflect more genetic contributions from later migrations.
So there's different genetic
This
factors in
regional
like.
variation helps explain some of the incredible genetic diversity seen across the subcontinent today.
Oh my goodness.
The genetic legacy of these ancient migrations reveals that India's population history is one of constant movement and mixing. Far from being a static, isolated region, the Indian subcontinent was a crossroads where people from distant lands met,
a lot of
mingled,
migration.
and created new, vibrant communities. Understanding these early migrations is crucial to unraveling the complex web of ancestry that makes up modern India, and it's just the beginning of the story. One of the most fascinating chapters in India's ancient past is the rise of the Harappan civilization, also known as the Indus Valley Civilization. Flourishing between 3300 to 1300 BCE, this sophisticated society built advanced cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, complete with elaborate drainage systems, large public baths, and standardized weights and measures.
Are these the same ones who built that like almost upside down, not upside down pyramid? It was like that one thing where in India they have like no idea how they built it, where like they had to carve it from the top to create like this temple underground. Are these the same like what is it called, the Hendropi? Bro, my brain right now. Okay, I'm on like 2 like cups of caffeine, but yeah, is it the same?
But what do genetics tell us about the people who built these impressive urban centers?
They're geniuses.
In 2019,
Like, bro, look
a
at this.
groundbreaking study analyzed ancient DNA from a skeleton found in Rakhigarhi, one of the largest Harappan sites.
Harappan, that's the
The
word.
results revealed that the Harappans were a genetic mix of ancient Iranian farmers and indigenous South Asian hunter-gatherers. Interestingly, they showed little to no genetic influence from later Central Asian steppe populations, suggesting the Harappans developed independently of those later migrations.
Oh, wow.
When the Harappan cities eventually declined, likely due to changing river patterns and climate shifts, their people didn't simply vanish. Genetic evidence shows that many Harappans migrated to other regions of India, blending with local populations and spreading their genetic legacy across the subcontinent. In fact, traces of Harappan ancestry are still found in modern Indian populations, especially in Dravidian-speaking communities in southern India. This finding is monumental because it challenges outdated colonial-era theories that suggested Indian civilization only flourished due to outside influences.
Oh, wow.
Instead, the Harappan civilization was
a lot
a
of people say
homegrown
that.
powerhouse, developing its culture, trade networks, and technologies through a complex interplay of indigenous innovation and ancient migrations.
That's incredible.
The Harappan genetic legacy lives on in more than just DNA. Elements of their culture, from craft techniques to symbolic motifs, can still be seen in some Indian traditions today.
Like, imagine building
And as
this.
scientists continue to analyze ancient genomes, we may discover even more connections between the Indus Valley and the modern Indian population.
You know what's crazy is us looking back at this, like, as humans, like, looking at this staircase even, for example, like, you have to understand how much time went to each step. It's kind of like you wake up. You don't got TikTok or Instagram to go on. You just wake up. Let's continue the staircase, honey. That's what we doing today. Next day, more staircase. It's low-key genius. Like, jokes aside, like, genuinely, when you don't have distractions, I mean, that's how we evolutionized as human beings. We evolutionized because of quote-unquote boredom. And, of course, there's, like, a medium between, like, how healthy boredom can be. Because boredom is the reason why we were very creative and created the things we did and moved forward and fire and this and that and made food and then spears and then weapons and then this. This is why. Because what else, right? You're starving and also you're just thinking of ideas, and then next thing you know, this is what happens. And this just shows you that there's like a broad spectrum of like differences, yet we're all almost the same because we almost experience that same feeling all together as one. The world really is as one, bro. I'm gonna stay and believe that. Like, everybody got their slight differences, but at the end of the day, we're all one human. I mean, we gotta eat. We all gotta eat. We all gotta sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, bro. But regardless, it is a cool like thing to think about. Like, wake up, do the staircase, but these things, like small little things, like, are big impacts.
Indian traditions today. And as scientists continue to analyze ancient genomes, we may discover even more connections between the Indus Valley and the modern Indian population. This chapter of India's history reveals a powerful truth: the subcontinent's roots run extraordinarily deep, with a civilization that contributed not just to South Asia's genetic landscape, but to the broader tapestry of human history itself. Few topics in Indian history have sparked as much debate as the Aryan migration theory. For decades, historians, archaeologists, and political ideologies clashed over whether a group of Indo-European-speaking pastoralists migrated to India from the Central Asian steppes around 1500 BCE.
I actually heard a lot about that.
Some argued this was a colonial construct, while others believed it explained linguistic and cultural shifts. But now, genetics is shedding new light on this age-old debate, and the results are fascinating. Ancient DNA research confirms that steppe pastoralists, closely related to the Yamnaya culture of Eastern Europe, did indeed migrate to India.
Oh, wow.
Their genetic signatures appear in modern North Indian populations and are particularly strong in higher caste groups. But contrary to older Aryan invasion theories, this migration wasn't a violent conquest. Instead, it happened gradually, through multiple waves over centuries, with steppe migrants blending with local populations rather than replacing them.
They slowly blended in.
The genetic data aligns with linguistic patterns. The Indo-European languages spoken across much of North India today likely spread alongside these steppe migrations. But the genetic impact of these migrations varies. Northern populations carry more steppe ancestry, while southern populations have little to none, reflecting the limited geographic spread of these migrants. What's truly fascinating is how this genetic layer interacted with existing populations. By the time the steppe pastoralists arrived, the Indian subcontinent already had a deep genetic and cultural history shaped by ancient hunter-gatherers, Iranian farmers, and Harappan urbanites. The steppe ancestry added another layer to this complex mosaic, possibly influencing the formation of Vedic culture and early Hindu traditions.
That's
Crucially,
insane.
genetics disproves the notion that the Indo-European migration erased earlier populations. Instead,
Is this
it
a
adds
real
to the
picture?
evidence that India's history is one of constant blending and fusion.
Yeah.
Each migration, whether from Africa, Iran, or the Central Asian steppes,
So many
added to the
combined.
genetic diversity that makes India so unique today.
It's incredible.
This discovery helps reconcile long-standing debates. Yes, there was a migration from the steppes, but it wasn't the singular defining event of Indian history.
There was more to it.
It was just one chapter in a much longer story, a story of people moving, mixing, and creating new cultures over tens of thousands of
like,
years.
look at this. This is insane.
And understanding this complex past doesn't diminish India's rich heritage, it deepens it.
Yeah.
One of the most striking aspects of India is its immense diversity. People from different states often look distinct, speak entirely different languages, and follow unique cultural traditions.
Which is crazy,
But
bro.
did you know this regional variation is reflected at the genetic level, too? In fact, genetic research has revealed that ancient migrations, combined with thousands of years of social practices, played a huge role in shaping the subcontinent's diversity. When scientists studied the genomes of people across India, they found that different populations carry varying amounts of ancestry from ancient hunter-gatherers, Iranian farmers, and Central Asian steppe migrants. Northern Indian groups tend to have more steppe-related DNA, while southern populations show stronger genetic continuity with the region's earliest inhabitants. This
So even in the
aligns with
north,
historical
different.
records, but genetics adds a whole new layer of evidence to explain why India is so regionally distinct. But what about caste? For centuries, the caste system structured Indian society into rigid social hierarchies, and genetics shows that this system may have roots in ancient population mixing. Studies have found that caste groups often have distinct genetic profiles, suggesting limited intermarriage between groups for thousands of years. Interestingly, higher caste groups tend to have more steppe ancestry, possibly reflecting the influence of migrating pastoralists who brought Indo-European languages to the region. However, genetics doesn't support the idea of pure, unmixed populations.
Yeah.
Even within caste groups, people carry traces of all the ancient migrations that shaped India. This suggests that while social boundaries restricted gene flow, they didn't completely isolate populations. Instead, India's genetic landscape reflects both deep ancestral mixing and the impact of long-standing social structures. Another fascinating finding is the genetic similarity between some Indian populations and groups outside the subcontinent. For example, genetic links between Indians and populations in Southeast Asia and the Middle East suggest that ancient trade routes and cultural exchanges also contributed to India's genetic diversity.
There was Indians in Philippines
just arriving
too,
in India, they were also leaving, spreading Indian genes and culture to distant lands.
Yeah.
Ultimately, genetics shows that India's diversity isn't just cultural, it's biological, too. The incredible variety of faces, languages, and traditions across the subcontinent is the result of thousands of years of migration, adaptation, and human connection.
Yep.
And far from dividing people, understanding this shared genetic history reveals something profound. Despite all the differences, every Indian carries traces of the same ancient ancestors who made their way to the subcontinent tens of thousands of years ago. This knowledge has the power to reshape how we think about identity, history, and belonging. India's diversity isn't a modern phenomenon, it's an ancient legacy written in the very DNA of its people.
Yeah.
And the more we learn, the more we appreciate the beautifully complex story of how one of the world's oldest civilizations came to be.
Yeah, and it's
India's
amazing.
genetic story is as vast and
Amazing
intricate
place.
as the land itself. Every new discovery, every ancient genome analyzed, adds another piece to the puzzle of who the people of India really are. And the answer is as powerful as it is humbling. Indians are the descendants of countless migrations, ancient civilizations, and thousands of years of mixing, adaptation, and evolution. What makes this story so extraordinary is how it reframes our understanding of identity. The DNA of modern Indians carries the legacy of the first humans to walk out of Africa, the resilience of the hunter-gatherers who roamed the subcontinent, the ingenuity of early farmers from ancient Iran, the brilliance of the Harappans who built sprawling cities, and the cultural influence of steppe migrants who brought new languages and ideas. Far from being a single-origin population, India is a living, breathing testament to the interconnectedness of human history. This genetic complexity mirrors India's cultural diversity. The fact that people from different regions carry distinct genetic traces of ancient migrations explains why India is such a mosaic of languages, traditions, and customs.
It's like one of the most complex
But at the same time,
I've ever
these
seen.
findings also reveal a shared ancestry, a reminder that beneath the surface differences, all Indians are bound by a common past. Perhaps the most powerful lesson from this research is what it teaches us about the nature of human civilization itself. India's history wasn't shaped by one group or another, it was shaped by everyone. Every migration, every blending of cultures and genes, added something new to the subcontinent's story. And this relentless mixing and merging of peoples is what made India the uniquely rich and diverse place it is today.
Yeah.
Science is still unraveling the full complexity of this history. As technology advances and more ancient DNA is uncovered, we'll likely learn even more surprising details about India's past.
And there's still more details to uncover, which is crazy.
But one thing is already clear. India's genetic legacy is a story of unity and diversity, of countless threads weaving together to form a tapestry that stretches back tens of thousands of years. And this history isn't just something to be studied, it's something to be celebrated.
Yeah.
Knowing that India's people are the product of so many ancient journeys, of so much human resilience and curiosity, is a powerful reminder of how interconnected we all are.
Well said.
It shows that migration and mixing aren't the exceptions in human history, they're the rule. So, the next time you look at a crowded street in Delhi, a bustling market in Chennai, or a festival in Varanasi, remember, every face you see carries within it the story of humanity's epic journey across continents and centuries. And that's not just India's history, it's a history that belongs to all of us.
Yo, honestly, I really appreciated you guys linking this over because I feel like it teaches a lot. And even if you guys were to tell me, like, hey, man, this wasn't right or this wasn't right, I mean, regardless, even if some of it is up to debate, the reality is that a lot in here is just fact, right? Even on, like, my first impression of it, there are some parts here where, you know, he's explaining that when you look at it, it's to be celebrated because all of us are one. This shaped everything that we are today. All of these like migrations and interconnections, like this shows you that, you know, we really are one, even when it comes to genetics. Not only the fact that I was mentioning before, like, hey, we all got to eat, we all got to sleep, right? We're all human. Even with that aside, right? Like the habits that we have to do as human beings, the reality is, even like biologically, like blood, we all are one in that sense of like, we all had to migrate and form into one. Like, really think about it. Like, you could be my long lost brother. You. Like, yo, that'd be crazy, yo. Like, low key, technically, right? You know what I mean? But regardless, like, stuff like that is really incredible to look at. This is what I love about videos like this, really sharing that origin and sharing how interconnected it really is. But thank you guys for linking us over. Thank you so much for everything. And thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hey, if you liked it, leave a like. If you loved it, subscribe. If you want more, let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, till next time, guys. Peace. How good you been living? Wait, how good you been living? I've been living too good for you. I've been living too. Did what I did and I do it again. Every move that I make, I ain't feeling repent. Nobody believes to believe it's a friend, and you question your moves like it really won't end. Really?